Let's talk about Marilyn Manson for a second. This is Mechanical Animals. This is the follow-up to Antichrist Superstar, which was one of the defining albums of the 90s. Certainly the anthem record for any disenfranchised youth of the 90s. And this was the difficult follow-up. But boy, did he follow it up good. Mechanical Animals is all killer, no filler. It is a fantastic album from start to finish. And it is in stark contrast, I feel, to the abject parody of himself that Marilyn Manson has since become. The cracks were starting to show a bit near the end of this album cycle when it turned out that the guitarist who had written most of the tracks on the album sort of left, and we're not entirely sure if it was amicable or acrimonious. Certain information has come out later that would suggest that maybe it wasn't just a pat on the back and I'll see you later. But Manson is sadly kind of known for this sort of thing right now. He'll go through guitarists and songwriting partners like most of us go through underwear. And the replacement guitarist, John Five, who ended up going on tour for this album, was amazing and stuck with Manson for quite a while, but the follow-up albums weren't quite as good. Hollywood was kind of an overindulgent, bloated piece of messy shite, and Golden Age of Grotesque was just all shades of weird, saved only by the involvement of Tim Skold, who is one of the unsung heroes of the 90s pop industrial movements. But anything after that is just abject misery from start to finish, plodding, self-indulgent bullshit. What Manson, like any good writer, and he was a journalist before he became a rock star, what any good journalist and writer needs is a good editor, and Manson had a terrific editor on Antichrist Superstar in Trent Reznor, and he had a fantastic editor on this by whoever the hell produced it. We're not entirely sure. So what we have here is a double vinyl album of Mechanical Animals. It's not the one that was released when the album came out, because the actual album has this very strange structure where, according to the man himself anyway, half of the songs were meant to be taken seriously and half of the songs were just empty party songs. And the album was in fact split into the Marilyn Manson side, or the Alpha, as he called himself, and the empty party songs were Omega and the Mechanical Animals, a fictional band. And indeed, the booklet for the CD has the band made up in this overstyled glam rocky kind of thing. And the original vinyl pressing of the album was split onto 2 discs, and the first disc was all the serious songs, the Marilyn Manson songs, and the other disc were the Omega songs, the party songs, and the discs were differently colored vinyl albums. This, however, is the Simply Vinyl re-release special edition 180-gram vinyl, but it is it follows the CD's track list, and it is on black vinyl only, which also sort of takes away one of the other fun Easter eggs of the original CD album and the original vinyl release, which was that the accompanying booklet had a number of secret messages that were printed in very hard to read yellow on top of the white paper. But if you held up either the CD's transparent blue cover to the booklet, you'd be able to read the resulting green text, because blue plus yellow equals green, so all of a sudden you could read the text. And with the original vinyl release, one of the vinyls was indeed blue transparent colored, so you could hold that up to the booklet and read the secret messages. This is a black vinyl. You can't hold it up to shit, which is just as well, because the actual booklet isn't even in the fucking dust jacket. But with that said, this is an amazing pressing of the album. It is on 180 gram, as I said, and it sounds absolutely spectacular. And I dearly love this album, and I was sort of recently reintroduced to it. I just sort of happened upon the CD version in a thrift store, popped it in my car stereo, and just went, oh yeah, I remember a time when Marilyn Manson used to be pretty fucking kick-ass. I remember when he had something to say, when he wasn't just a bloated parody of himself. When you go and listen to later albums, for instance, for shits and giggles, I just popped in one of his later albums, The High End of Low, and it is just one plodding mess after another. Mechanical Animals has none of that. So this is a fantastic record. I'm very glad I have it in my collection. Now, the thing about Marilyn Manson records on vinyl in particular is that they tend to go for insane amounts of dosh. If you go on DISCOGS and just search up any of the, what I would call essential Manson albums, which would be anything from Portrait, Smells Like Children, Antichrist Superstar, or Mechanical Animals, they go for insane amounts of money. This version of Mechanical Animals is by far the cheapest. This, at current time of recording, is being sold for around 150 euros on Discogs. And that is peanuts when it comes to Manson albums on vinyl. I am not made of that kind of money. So anyway, that's Mechanical Animals. That's Marilyn Manson in a nutshell. And see you later.